Welcome back, gamers, to Top 10 Gaming. I'm your host, Johnny Rogers, and if you happen to be new here, we put out daily content on all things gaming, so if you're down with that, then tap subscribe to see more. Fortnite Chapter 2 is here, and boy oh boy are there a ton of new skins, new mechanics, and new ways to win it all. Don't forget to leave us a comment down below with what your favorite Chapter 2 skin is, and make sure you stay all the way until the end because you really won't believe our #1 spot. Now without any further delay, let's begin the Top 10 Fortnite Chapter 2 tips and tricks you won't believe. And at number 10, stay centered. Oftentimes when you watch pros play Fortnite, you'll see them either drop immediately into the map or at least go for a more centered point. At first glance, this can seem like a tactic only the best of the best will ever attempt. Usually when dropping in straight away, your odds of survival are much lower, although there's a real strategy to this technique if you can manage to avoid all of the other incoming opponents. The reason why you'll want to be in a more central location is simply to stay within the center of the storm. Even if the zone is slightly off center of the map, you should always do your best to move towards the center of wherever the zone is. You may feel exposed by doing this, but if you can develop some technique through practice, it's actually a really good position to be in. As you establish a foothold in the center, you won't have to worry too much about running from the storm, and instead you'll get to build a perfect settlement as everyone moves towards you. In at number 9, Slurpee Swamp. A new location, and it is a pivotal one for success, is the Slurpee Swamp. Located on the Battle Royale map inside the coordinates of C6 and C7 just south of Weeping Woods is where you'll find this helpful location. This would be an alternative starting point for newer players because of the great benefits that you can draw from dropping here. At this new location is the giant Slurp Juice factory, but additionally there are Slurpee rivers, barrels, trucks, and a ton of other ways to down this beneficial liquid. If you're a seasoned Fortnite player, you'll understand the benefits to having the Slurp Juice nearby. It raises your health and shield levels, and it's even been argued that you could snag a victory just by staying in this location for the majority of the game. Depending on how far the center of the storm is, you could technically just squat in the Slurpee rivers, constantly replenishing your shields even in the middle of a storm. It's by far one of the safest places for a new player to start. In at number 8, the Waterfall Troll. This is perhaps an area that will soon be patched just because of the sheer amount of people using it to gain an advantage, but it is by far my favorite. The new waterfall location that sits just northwest of Lazy Lake has become a popular spot for some serious trolling. If you reach the waterfall before anyone else does, here's a fun way to set up a trap for opponents trying to eliminate you. Head to the bottom of the waterfall and simply start laying down flooring over top of the water that's pooled at the bottom. That way when players come over the waterfall expecting to have a cushy dive into the water and just move on, they will smack right into the flooring that you've placed, knocking them out of the game upon impact. Additionally, if you happen to come across a boat and bring it to this location, a recent glitch will allow you to drive the boat off the waterfall without even falling. That's right, the boat will just start to fly as if Epic had never taken out those airplanes. For best results, make sure the right side of the boat is just touching the land on that kind of side, the right side of the boat, just as you near the edge of the waterfall. Then exit the boat, jump onto the land, and enter the boat from there. If done correctly, you should be able to start flying the boat from that point.
Straight away, so you do need to move forward the second you get in, and it should actually work. And again, it can take a few attempts, but you guys should see that if I do it, it should actually work, so you guys can see it has actually worked this time.
In at number 7, harvest materials. In Fortnite Season 1, you needed to grind to collect as much material as you possibly could, and for good reason. When it comes down to a conflict, you'll want to be able to build a wall, or at the very least an escape plan. Now a new addition to Fortnite Chapter 2 is here to help if you're willing to take advantage of it. To collect a massive amount of materials in one foul swoop, all you need to do is get close enough to your enemy to break down their structure and harvest all of their materials. This is a huge tip and one that you should be constantly using in order to keep a leg up on the competition. It also means that you don't need to fret if you're in a location that doesn't have very many materials, although pretty much everything can break down, but nonetheless, I digress. At least now you can just seek out an enemy's well-crafted fort and rob them of everything they work so hard to get. In at number 6, haystacks. I love this new addition to Chapter 2 because of how reminiscent it feels of playing Assassin's Creed. Just like in Assassin's Creed, when you jump from a great height into a haystack, they will undoubtedly save you from falling to your death. Not only that, but they are a decent place to hide as well. They're these sort of unassuming props on the map that a lot of players will just run right past. However, if you use them wisely, these haystacks can become your best friend, which is important to have, especially in a game like Solos. In regards to jumping into these things, you can pretty much do it from any height and take absolutely no damage. Plus, if you're being chased, it doubles as an excellent hiding spot from whomever was just trying to eliminate you. In at number 5, watch and learn. Perhaps one of the most underrated tips on this list is just simply watching and learning, mainly from the plethora of professional Fortnite streamers that are out there. These guys and gals go hard with Fortnite nearly every single day, and as a result they've become very skilled. You'll be amazed at the subtle techniques that you can pick up just by watching how another person plays. Seeing what it takes to take that victory royale can often be enough for a new player to substantially increase their ranking or skill level in the game. Additionally, to this point, practice is key to getting better at any game. Anytime you lose, just take a breath and learn from your mistakes. You'll be much better come the next game if you've learned from your past failures. In at number 4, stay balanced. Much like in the first chapter of Fortnite, it is worth repeating that keeping a balanced loadout of weapons is supremely important even in chapter 2. The key to capturing a victory royale is having a very good balance of weaponry at your side. A good base of weapons to keep would be an assault rifle, shotgun, sniper, an explosive of any type, and some way to heal. As for chapter 2, the top tier weapons is still the assault rifle and should be your go-to. They're great weapons to have because of the wide range of, well, range that you can hit with it. Second to that is having a good shotgun. A lot of times you're fighting either within a close quarters building or a fort that you're creating on the spot, so that means that your enemies are going to be a lot more in your face, and the best weapon to save you is a legendary shotgun, if you're lucky enough to find one, that is. This can deal out 87 damage points and is oftentimes the deciding factor when it comes down to a duel. In at number 3, avoid conflict. This is more often than not a test of your patience than anything else, but if you're able to not engage with every single player you see, you can actually survive for a long time. The map is so large in Fortnite that if you're able to survive, you can just kind of sit back and just let everyone else take each other out of the game, leaving time for you to plan the perfect attack. That's also why having a balanced loadout of weapons is important. Having a sniper doesn't just allow you to take out opponents from a great distance, but it also doubles for the perfect scope to see what's happening. Avoiding conflict and waiting for the perfect moment to strike gives you the element of surprise, and if you plan a path to the center of the zone without being seen, you have a much better chance of actually winning. The only time we would suggest it be best to move in on an enemy is when you see two others already going at it. If you can again be patient and allow one of them to gain the upper hand, you can just swoop in and take out the winner of that small battle while their health is low. Then, in turn, it kind of gives you two different players' loot to go through. I mean, what's better than that? Two birds, one stone? You didn't even have to throw the stone. Well, you threw it at one of them. In at number 2, 90s. This technique is something that definitely takes some practice, but if you can do it well, it will speak volumes to your level of experience playing the game. The second I see someone using this technique, I know that they play Fortnite a lot. In fact, it's the very name of the game. 90s are when you build two walls, one in front and one beside you, creating that 90-degree angle. Then simply add a ramp and jump, placing it below you. This will not only boost you into the air, but it creates a constant wall of protection and moves you to a higher vantage point. When done correctly, it creates utter confusion for the enemy chasing you.
90s, I had them doing 5 infinite double 90s here as a test, and he was almost a second faster than Bizzle 90s, EUs, and double wall 90s, as you'll see here.
There's also a technique called Voss 90s, which was created by YouTuber and Fortnite streamer Vo. His take a bit more practice to master, but they also don't require that double wall start. You would simply place the ramp, then jump and turn your character 90 degrees and continue the process of building underneath you. Again, if done correctly, it will boost your vantage point by a lot. And it's kind of fun to snipe from up there. You can get some good eliminations. Last but not least, in our number 1 spot, go fish. One of the newer additions to Fortnite Chapter 2 is the fishing mechanic, and it is one that not a lot of people are taking advantage of. However, if you drop in early on and are having a difficult time locating decent weapons, don't just pass by the fishing rod. Take that and start casting your line into any water source. You will always pull in a fish that can offer you weapons, health, and many other helpful supplies. Although great loot aside, the main reason you'll want to try your hand at fishing is in search of the super rare mythic goldfish. If you catch that fish and pull it out of the water successfully, it will deal a massive amount of damage to any enemies that come your way. And that has been the top 10 Fortnite Chapter 2 tips and tricks you won't believe. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, show some love here by tapping that like and subscribe button. Plus, leave us a comment down below with your thoughts on this list. Do you have any other tips, any other tricks that you want to add? Let me know down below. Plus, for more videos like this one, all you gotta do is click that playlist on the screen. From Top 10 Gaming, I'm Johnny Rogers saying until next time, take care.